Today show, the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. I am your guest host, Latrika Jones, and I'm so glad that you have tuned in once again to come and just hang out with us for a little while. I won't be in front of you long, but I definitely think I have some things or some dialogue I would like to share that I think is something that's worth considering, dealing with with just life in itself and no less than dealing with a CPS case. So again, I am so excited that you have tuned in, and I definitely, everybody know when I start my show, I always like to give credit and honor where it's due, which is to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because again, He gives me the strength like no other. It is not easy, multitasking and doing things you have to do, whether it's work, taking care of your kids, being a wife, a husband. I know men watch the show as well as women, and taking care of your family. And there's so many different challenges you may have on a daily basis. And I think that's why it's so important to take out time for yourself. And I would like to call this show Monday Motivation. Obviously, the title is Beautifully Bruised in the CPS show, right? Like that is the title. But today, since it's Monday, coming from the weekends, I think Monday motivation is just so sufficient. It helps you to understand hopefully your day, and hopefully to make your day a little easier, a little better by getting some positive reinforcement for your day. And like I was saying, I always start out my show with giving credit to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without Him, I wouldn't have the strength to be here. I wouldn't have the wisdom. I wouldn't have survived overcoming. Even as my CPS case I had years ago, if God hadn't given me the strength to endure so much that came with that, I couldn't have survived, y'all. So I will always honor and glorify and thank God for giving me the tenacity, for giving me the strategy to overcome CPS and win my kids, my son back. And that, again, that's something that I'm going to be talking on as well, because I do believe knowledge is power. And I want to share some things that I think from listening to different guests that we've had on the show, and also my own personal experiences talking to people and their perception on things. But again, I just had to get that out. Thank you, Jesus, for this day. We woke up today. You got to be thankful for that even. A lot of people didn't get this opportunity. A lot of people are sick in the hospital, not, they lost somebody. So it's just a blessing to wake up in the morning to see another day, because that tells you what? There's a new day. There's a day full of grace. There's a day full of mercy that God gives us every morning that's renewed, that allows us to take a deep breath and relax and say, okay, here's another chance. Here's another opportunity. I have to fight for my kids. I have a chance to present myself, so you can't take things for granted. You really can't. You can't take nothing for granted, especially with God, because He's a forgiving God. He's a merciful God. And again, I like to acknowledge God, because God says, if you be, you be ashamed of me, He'll be ashamed of you in front of His Father. So again, I love to give credit where credit is due. Talking to Grace this morning, I always love talking to her because she makes me laugh. And I love to hear her laugh. And it's just, I don't know, some people, you talk to and you just get good energy from, and it pumps you up, and it just inspires you and encourages you to keep going. Some people just like talking to, even if it's just only for a few minutes, they do something for you, to keep you inspired. And it's good for everybody to have somebody like that, you can talk to, you can, share with, you can trust. Hopefully you have friends or a supportive system that is that for you, when you're dealing with so much, especially when it comes to dealing with CPS. Okay. That is to me essential, having a great support system in place in such a time as dealing with CPS. So with that being said, I just want to go into, again, I won't be in front of you long. But again, I see this as Monday motivation. Don't know what you came up of this weekend. I don't know if you had a good weekend, a bad weekend, indifferent, you've been discouraged, overwhelmed, anxiety, stress, depression. It's so many different things that, as we go through in life, and it's easy for you to get caught up in your emotions and your feelings, and not even saying that they're not valued, or doesn't make sense why you feel the way you do. But I just want to come on to encourage you today to say, don't stay stay in them. Don't live in those feelings. Get up. There is life. There is a new day. There is another chance. There is another opportunity. Don't stay stuck in that, because that's what the devil wants you to do. He wants to defeat you. He wants to make you to feel like you should give up. Maybe you're not a fit mother. Maybe you're not a fit father or grandparents. The devil is a liar. He will tell you anything to distract you, but you have to say, no matter what, I'm going to fight for my kids. I don't come hell or high water. I am not going to give up until God says this is it. And guess what? God does not quit. God is a winner. He is going to give you the strength. He gave me the strength. Believe me, it was times I thought the same thing. It was like, Lord, am I going to make it out of this? Every time you turn around, it's something else they've added to your services, or another random drug test, or something that you don't understand what they're doing. But again, perseverance is the key. You have to keep trying. You have to keep going. You cannot quit. Why? Because your kids are depending on you. Your kids need you. I don't care what nobody say. The system is not where you want to raise your children. If you know you are a good mother, you are a good father, you might have made a mistake, you might be being misjudged, whatever the case might be, to get you in the situation you're in now. Just know that don't put a comma don't put a period where there should be a comma. God is not through writing your story. If he's giving us new grace and mercy every day, he's giving you another opportunity, another chance to prove yourself, then guess what? He can do the same thing with your CPS case. So don't get discouraged. I just wanted to come on here as well and share with you that, I want to tell you that what I look at, and what I don't know about other people, if you've noticed that sometimes you can mean well, but sometimes the way it's not, it's a saying where it's not what you say, but it's how you say what you say. And if you really think about that, that speaks volume. If you, and again, with that being said, I find it to be so valid, because don't you know, with your CPS cases, they're watching you. They're watching how you conduct yourself. They're watching how you speak. They look at your tone of voice. They look at how you carry yourself. You're constantly being evaluated. So that's why I say I know what it's like when I went through my encounter. My attorney told me, even the way you present yourself in court, the way you comb your hair, the clothes, how you, again, you just, you might not want to go in there with a graphic t-shirt on, or certain that's something that they could actually misunderstand you by. Not saying you don't wear graphic shirts. Don't wear them, because I wear them all the time. I've actually worn some on the show before. But again, I have won my CPS case years ago. Once you won your case, you can do whatever you want to do. But what came to me that really made me want to share today is, it seemed like sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but sometimes we might be doing more than what we should. I think the most important thing is to focus. Focus on what? Focus on getting your children back. Focus on, my main objective here is to get my kids back home. Okay. I think it's a great deal that people that want to go and do other things, take on, excuse me, other tasks, things that keep you busy and productive. I think that's important as you're going through your CPS cases. You're doing things to keep you distracted, to keep you motivated, to keep you, engaged in other things. But again, I think it's very vital that even while you're doing that, you don't lose focus, that you're here. Your most important objective is getting your kids back home and out of that broken, corrupt foster care system, getting these children out of the government hands, out of their custody. And I would not recommend, I'm no attorney, but I am a mom that has actually been through CPS, and I fought to get my kids back, where the judge was ordered to make CPS return my child back home. So I, by the grace and mercy of God, I won and overcame what they tried to do to me. Okay. And with that being said, that's why I think that I want to share is, when I was dealing with my encounter years ago, I never took on more ventures. I never took on, not saying that it's not a good thing to do, but I do believe, like I always give credit to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, when I start this show. I think it's important to give credit where credit is due. Give honor where honor is due. I think it's substantial to do that. Actually, I think it's mandatory. It is for me. So with that being said, your most important goal, if you are dealing with a CPS case, should be getting your children back home, right? And since CPS takes you through so many different obstacles and challenges and things that you have to do and you have to face and go through, it's enough in itself to even go through that type of ordeal. So why add more weight on you? Why take on more obstacles and more challenges? Because actually it can end up being a distraction from you focusing on what? Winning your case to get your children back. So with that being said, with CPS, obviously this is a giant, this is the government, so it takes so much time and attention and energy already. So why would you? I don't think it would just be wise, just somebody again that's been through CPS, have overcame CPS and know the different things they take you through, that would not be a time to take on even more challenges. Once you win your kids back home, yes. Once they're safe back in your custody, yes, absolutely. At that point, you can go ahead and climb Mount Everest if you want to. That is your obligation, not your obligation, but that's your choice. But I do believe in taking care of things in order, which is to me, I've just seen people that have shared, unfortunately, by them taking on other tasks and trying to take on other obstacles that require a lot of time and attention. And to me, that can easily be misconstrued and take your focus off what's highly important, of course, as well, is getting your children back home. So I just, from what I've heard, I would not do anything additional until your children are returned safely back home. Once your kids are back, my God, like I said, if you want to go climb Mount Everest, that is your choice. Okay. Whatever victory looks like to you, that is your that is your choice. But until they're back home, my earring just fell. Until they're back home, I just want to say that just to make sure you're focused, to make sure you're on task, I would not, take on anything more that can be a deterrent or distraction from you focusing completely on your children. I think it's great a person that takes on good deeds and trying to help and rescue and save other people. I think that's a great thing to do. I actually work in ministry. That's what I do with the business that I work in. We help people and do different things. Like, to be honest with you, when I went through CPS, and I've shared with it on the show before, when I went through CPS, I do believe God told me, I want you to share your story. And I said, no, I'm not sharing that. It's just certain things you like. No, thank you. And not that one. But God said, but that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the broken stuff. I'm going to use the stuff that you felt defeated, you felt hurt, ashamed, embarrassed, whatever feelings you may have. That's how people heal. People heal from truth. People heal from transparency. People heal from you sharing that, hey, I've been through that same thing, but guess what? By the grace and mercy of God, I made it out. That's why when I had my interview on this show with on the attorney bench show, he shared you overcame CPS. You actually are a veteran. You are somebody that won, and people learn from people who've overcame things. How? Why? Because they've been there. They've been through it. They know what it's like. And that's why, again, God told me, I want you to start journaling to share your story, beautifully bruised, in a CPS show. In this book is talking about the things that I went through, whether it was emotional, whether it was mental, whether it was physical, things I had to readjust, things I had to realign, how I called and built a strong relationship with Christ, because he gave me strength like no other. That gave me I was able to tap into myself and dig deep in myself and realize, okay, how important this is. I think Attorney Vince have even referenced this could be literally the biggest fight of your life, which is what? Your children, getting them back home, your legacy. So again, I just don't want people to get sidetracked and think that CPS is a game, because they're not. They will take your children. Okay? It's far from a game. They will take your children. Let that meditate for a minute. I have literally had guests to come on and say that their kids have been taken, and not only taken temporarily, where their parental rights has been taken. So I don't want you to feel like, don't get complacent. Don't, see this, do not see this for not what it is. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Kristen C, thank you for this spiritual encouragement I needed. Oh, God bless you, Kristen. We all need it, if we be honest. Sometimes the people that look the strongest sometimes might be the weakest. They're just so used to carrying so much and carrying on so many hats and so many roles and responsibilities. Trust me. I have been known when my mom was alive, she'll be, people think like, okay, Trika, you the one, can you help me with this? And don't get me wrong, I will help if I can. By God, I actually like helping people. That's why I work in ministry. But at a certain time, don't you know that I need also to kind of do a hit a reset button? Whether I need to take another walk to get some fresh air, or read a book, or watch a movie that kind of takes me away for a minute, talk to somebody that makes me laugh, or just something maybe small, but it's needed. You need to know how to learn how to process everything you're going through. And we all need a reset button from time to time. None of us is perfect but Jesus Christ. Okay. So again, thank you, Kristen, for giving me that, because I just go off of what I believe that is needed. I pray about, God, what is it you want me to share on this show to encourage your people at the end of the day? Take me out of the equation and let you speak through me. When I was in my CPS case, I was just only looking to do what I needed to do to be better. I want to be my best version of myself. Why? Because I want to prove to them that I can raise my children. I'm not saying some of the services they offer may not be good, because some are. I've actually had a guest that said, you know what? Since I had a good CPS caseworker that showed interest in me getting counseling and services that I need, it helped me to redefine myself and how I was interacting with my kids. And after I looked at it from a different perspective, it made me realize, hey, I could make these changes. And once she made those changes, guess what? Her child came back home. So I'm not saying all CPS caseworkers are bad, because I know for a fact they're not. I have actually met friends, seriously, through the system. And we have been friends, oh my God, for years since then. And that's how you know it's a friend, because through good, bad, ugly, and different, you still can talk about it. We still, we can be real with each other. We may not always agree with each other, but sometimes, it's okay not to agree. You may not always agree with somebody, but just because you don't agree with them, don't mean you don't value what they shared. Okay. So that's why I say with CPS, there are some good people that have integrity. I know personally, I've shared on this show before the people I've met. I've actually brought them on the show before. So everybody is not in to get you. There are some people that want to see you to succeed with getting your children back. I've had even a guest that says she knows CPS, it is darkness with CPS. But if everybody's darkness, how can there be light? And that's why she worked with them to help bring in that light. So again, that's just another example. Everybody's not bad. But the ones that are, that are petty, the ones that are taking it personal against you and your kids, the ones that don't have your best interests at heart with you and your kids, the ones that are just doing the job and don't care what happens behind or goes along with that, don't care if you don't get your kids back or not. They're not really trying to talk to you to get you the services that you need to help you. The ones that lack integrity, them are the ones I'm calling out, because these are hearts, lives, and souls that's at stake. And one day, God is going to hold you accountable for your decisions that you make. So again, this is very important. So I just want to come on today for Monday Motivation to encourage you, to tell you that, you know what, no matter where you are in your season of life, there is still hope. And I'm not telling you something that I hadn't experienced. I'm not telling you something I hadn't been through. I was even sharing with the producer, Grace, the same child that CPS deemed to be only to be in a mental illness facility is the same child this day that was chosen to be on a panel along with a syndicated radio personality. Okay, that is does a lot for the community. I'm going to interrupt to say Robin Lover prayed for my son. His dad passed away, and CPS plays a big role on why my son only spent time with Oscrility. Oh my God, Robin Lover, I am going to be writing your name down. I'm going to add you to our prayer list. Thank you so much for sharing that information. I will definitely keep you in my prayers. You will be on our prayer list today. And anybody else that needs special prayer, please share that because I will pray for you. I do take this seriously. I do see this as a calling, as a ministry to come on and encourage God's children, the ones that feel abused, overlooked, mistreated, like their life doesn't matter, their kids don't matter because the devil is a liar. It's easy for those words to come into those thoughts to come into your mind when you're facing some of your greatest challenges in life. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Robin, for sending that message. You are definitely on my prayer list. We will be praying for you. I assure you of that. And also, along with Robin, if there's anybody else that wants to receive special prayer for whatever it is you're going through or you need encouragement with, I will also love to pray for you as well. Okay. So, but yes, I just wanted to share again. I think it's important that you do whatever it takes to have self care, to build yourself up, because again, this system will break you down. I actually think that's part of the analogy or part of some people that that lack integrity. They would use things against you because they feel like you're not strong enough to handle it. But I tell you, is so faithful. Oh my God. He can give you the strength like no other. I assure you, that was the only way I was able to overcome the government and this system is by the strength that God gave me. He gave me strength that I didn't even know I had. But once I got my mind refocused and, I did the work, and again, like I said earlier, it's okay to try to support others in a great cause, but that should not be your main focus. Your main focus should be doing what it takes to show that you are that parent. You are fully capable of raising your own children. Sometimes you got to play the game. You do. You do. Sometimes sometimes, what's the old saying? Sometimes you have to go along just to get along. Like I shared before, I've never done drugs in my entire life. I actually had counselors told me years ago, with everything you've been through, I can't believe you hadn't even done drugs. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I get it. And I don't knock on people that turn to drugs because we all are uniquely different, right? I don't condone doing drugs, but again, some people are in different places, and that's another reason why I want to come on here and encourage you. If it'll stop you from doing something that can hurt you, that can stop you from getting your kids back by saying, "Hey, don't pick up them drugs, don't pick up that weed, don't pick up that alcohol." You know what? Fall on your knees and pray and cry out to God. What can I do, Daddy? Help. And I refer to Jesus as my daddy because I never knew my earthly father, but I've always known my heavenly father. God, what can I do? Help me, even with this craving for drugs. Get this taste out of me. He can do it. Once he see that you are sincere, that you are truly willing to surrender your flesh over to him, your weakness, whatever that may be. We all have weaknesses. Nobody's perfect again but God. Once he see in your heart that you really mean it, he can deliver you from whatever that is that's trying to come against you. Sometimes it's a spiritual attack. It's a lot of people times when people call you regarding your CPS case, it's not always over factual things. It could be an ex that's mad at you for whatever reason, and they just want to get back at you. It could be a family member even. It could be an estranged family member. It could be an ex. It could be an ex's new girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever. Anything that they could be doing out of spite to get back at you. Because everybody knows CPS, no matter what, normally is going to review the investigation. And prayerfully, that and I had a CPS worker that came on, a social worker that came on and said 9 times out of 10, they can tell if it's a call that's being done just out of spite. But they at least have to normally, go through the process of it. And once they realize, yeah, this is something else, they normally drop the investigation. So what I'm saying is just because you get a CPS card in your door or you get a CPS phone call, it might not even be really based off of merit fact. It could be somebody just using it as a vengeance or stripe to get back at you because they're angry at you. I've had people to tell me I was just mad. That's why I did it. So I know it happens. I have personally went through that as well. And it's so sad because they take you through so much. And for somebody to bring people into your life, the government like that, they definitely can have your best interest at heart. And it's just no way I could ever believe that. I just can't, because it's so much it takes you through mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. Even getting an attorney, some I would recommend that as well, because there's so much you got to go through, and you want to know CPS laws. And if you don't know them, if you're not doing the research and following up on them, then I would strongly recommend an attorney, because I had to get one. And I can tell you, like I shared before, once I was able to do that, and prayerfully, some attorneys, they'll work with you. If they see you're serious, you're doing the work, you're being accountable, you're paying when you're supposed to be. People, they see you doing it yourself. I was telling my son this morning, taking him to school, people don't mind helping those who help themselves. Okay. It says a lot. It speaks volume, and it shows. And with that being said, I also want to mention too, even in relationships, I've noticed that some guests have decided to pick not even their spouse, they're not even their husband, they're not even their wife, but they chose to go with their relationship versus their children. Everybody's different. We're all grown. I can't tell you what to do, but it is no way that I would pick a relationship, someone that's not even my spouse, over my own children. Because I've always said children do not ask to be here. They don't. So to me, if they have said you can get your kids back with this particular person, whether it's a relationship or a family member, they cannot be in the premises, guess what? That person is gone. That person is out the door. That fast, just like I said it. Uh-huh. Because your kids come first. Now, once you got your kids back and that case is closed, and if y'all are able to come back together in relationships, so be it. Because I believe somebody that truly loves you, they would understand what's going on. They would know your kids come first. Okay. Children can't help themselves. They didn't ask to be here, right? So anybody to me that has the right character, they will understand that they need to step away for a while, or however long it takes until your children are returned back to you. And if this person is meant to be in your life, family or friends, they'll be there. But there's no way I'm going to pick them over my children. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't do it. And we all have rights, right? We all have our Second Amendment rights to make our own decisions. I just wouldn't do it, because your kids come first. Because once your kids are taken away, sometimes by the grace of God, you might can get them back, but a lot of times you don't. And I wouldn't take that chance. You can always bring a relationship back, but you can't bring your kids back if CPS have permanently removed them normally. Okay. And I'm no attorney, but I'm only going off of my life experience and what I've heard from attorneys that speak up, that they, not saying it can't be done, but it's very rare. So just to avoid that from altogether, put their relationship on hold. Boyfriend, girlfriend, family member. Family, you can't get rid of them no way, even if you wanted to. I'm just being. So I would not jeopardize my children for a relationship. That's just me. Because to me, if a person really loves you, like they say they do, action speaks louder than words. They will be there, and they should understand the mother or father that's trying to get their children out of CPS custody. Okay. My mom used to always tell me, she would say, Trika, common sense is not always so common. And I honestly, at the time, I did not know what she was talking about. I did not. I didn't. But as I began to listen, I do understand now what she's saying. CPS is not a game. They will take your children. The most important thing to do is to make sure you're being the best version of you. The way you interact with your children, the way you carry yourself, the people you have in your home, all that is being looked at. So don't do anything that can jeopardize you from getting your children back home. Don't take on more things than you should have to until your children are back home. Okay? Last but not least, as I want to share with you on this Monday motivation episode of today's show, focus, 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 focus. Focus on winning your case. That's number one. Okay. No matter what that looks like, focus on winning your case. before you take on additional tasks. It's great to want to help other people. God knows it is. I do it in a ministry full time. I get it. But it's certain things that are priority that I make sure are taken care of before I take on any additional tasks. Okay. Very important. CPS takes you through so much, all your time, all your energy, strategies, all your resources, all that is substantial during such a time as dealing with a CPS investigation. So take care of your business first, which is winning your case and getting your children back home safe and sound. Okay. Um, Again, unfortunately, CPS does not play fair. They do not. And that's no secret. That's why I say again, focus. Focus on your children. Make sure you're doing everything that your caseworker is asking you to do or anything, whoever's calling you, prove them wrong. Why? Because your children need you. They do not need to be raised in a broken, corrupt foster care government system. They do not. They are overcrowded already with numbers. Why add your child to be another caseload? Don't do it. Persevere, fight, don't give up. Keep fighting for your children. Your main focus need to be is your children, not taking on other adventures. Secure what you have now is your kids. If your kids is in CPS custody, let that be your main adventure. Don't take on no more. That need to be your main goal. Your main focus is returning your children back home out of the custody of CPS. Once that is established, sure, if you want to go climb Mount Everest, like I said, whatever your victory looks like, do it. But make sure that you've overcame CPS before you do that. Okay, because it needs your case, your children, most importantly, need all your attention and your time. So that's why, again, I definitely believe in self-care. Take your time, take your break, take your walks, enjoy those Netflix movies, your favorite dessert, whatever it looks like, your favorite book, that person that you can call and talk to, and you won't be judged. You're able to just be yourself. You could be transparent. Take those counseling sessions. I had a guest said that once she took the counseling, she realized, yeah, maybe I do need some help in this area. And it made her better. So much so, guess what? She got her kids back. God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes it takes him having to change the trajectory of your life and your decisions for him to open up your eyes to make you see things differently. And not only that, but in a better way, in a better light, to make you a better person along in the process. Okay? Don't let your children have to be the pawn or the guinea pigs. Don't let them have to go suffer living in a CPS system world because you didn't focus on them like you should have. You didn't give your full self to do what's needed to get them back. Okay. Don't do that. Don't take on anything additional. And I don't want to keep saying the same thing and sound like a broken record, but from the information I'm getting and the stories I'm hearing, I'm thinking that needs to be implemented. That wait a minute, maybe we just see this differently. Maybe I can put that down and focus more on my case with CPS because it takes all your time and energy. I know it did for me, and you need no distractions. Okay, so that's mainly what I want to share is to stay focused on your case, that there are people that are fighting for you. I will be praying for you. I know faith without works is dead. If you're doing your part and you got people like me that's praying for you, and I know God is a healer, I know God hears, I know God cares. Why? Because he did it for me and I want my kids back. Okay, so again, don't give up fighting for your kids. Stay focused. Don't take on more tasks than what you should. Focus right now on your children only. And once you completed that task and your kids are safe and sound back home, then take on more tasks. Perception is everything. Pay attention to how you carry yourself. Pay attention to what you're saying. They're listening to how you carry, listen to the words that you're using, listening to, are you talking all over the place? What you're saying, does it make sense? Perception is a lot. People, the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, it speaks volume. It truly does. First impressions go a long way. Pay attention to that, things like that. Even when you go on your visits, are you engaging with your children? Are you more engaging with your boyfriend or your girlfriend? Does it seem like you even want your kids back from the thing? Are you showing up at your visits? Are you there on time? Are you sharing, bringing that gift your or toy your kid love? They're looking at all that. So sometimes we can just kind of sit back and reflect on what else can I do different that can make this better for me and my children? Is basically all I'm saying. Sometimes we just need to reevaluate ourselves. I do it all the time with myself. How can I do that differently? Because they always say it's not what you say, but it's how you say what you say. And it can make the world of difference. So that is just my Monday motivation today for you, is to focus on only your case. Don't take on more than what you have to. Your plate is already full with that. Perception. Pay attention to what you're saying, how you're carrying yourself, how you're engaging with your children, because they're watching that as well with CPS. These things might sound small, but they're really not. It can make a difference in your business. It can make a difference in you getting your children back. So again, I want to share that because I think it's important from what I've been witnessing. Not saying you're not a good parent, but if you don't know how to conduct yourself, it can easily be misconstrued as if you're not. So don't give no other reasons to have something to go against you, because it's enough you're dealing with already. So I just want to come on here and share that, to tell you to stay encouraged. Don't you ever give up for fighting for your children. They love you. They're counting on you. That's something that my son says years later. Mama, thank you for not giving up on me. Kids know. And I've seen it both ways, where kids are, Jennifer, thank you for helping the fight and making people aware. That's Jennifer White. Thank you, Jennifer, as well. Because it is important. I promise to God, y'all, I wished I had, and thank you, Jennifer, for your comment. That's so much appreciated, Jennifer. I also want to share, y'all, I wished I had this platform when I was dealing with my CPS encounter years ago. Because sometimes, knowledge is power. Sometimes it's just hearing the right things to make you change how you're doing things. It does. It's significant. And it's 24/7. You can chime in anytime and hear real, true stories, what CPS is doing, or guests or families, or what they're going through, what they're dealing with. And it breaks my heart because I know what it's like. I do. And that's why I care. Some people didn't get their kids back, didn't even want to live anymore. This is serious. This is serious. And the more people are aware of what's going on, the more chances I think we have of making a change with this broken, corrupt system and doing what's right for the better for all people. Because we all are in this together. I don't care what color you're, Black, white, Spanish, Indian, Chinese, whatever. We all should care about our children, these parents. And I know it's not easy. So I tell you to don't stop fighting. I am in prayer with you, for you, that your kids will be reunited back home. I mean that. I do. And I pray that you can sense that. And I've had people say they have. So I thank God that it's coming across, because my heart really cares. And I know it's not easy. And I said I wasn't going to have a long segment, but I'm already over the time frame that I plan to be. But I just want to encourage you, to tell you, call in to the number that's on the bottom of the screen. If there's questions you may have needing representation, legal representation, like Attorney Vince, who knows CPS laws, call and make that appointment. If he's not available, call your nearest attorney that's in your area where you are. Make sure they know CPS laws. That's mandatory. That's so important, because to me, it's a system within a system, and a person have to be knowledgeable and intelligent enough and have discernment enough to know how to fight it. Okay. So again, focus. Make sure your perception is right as far as how you conducting yourself, engaging with your children at your visits, show up at your visits, be at your visits on time, how you carry yourself in court. Don't throw on anything, do a little extra. And when you get home, I don't care what you do. But again, know how to play the game until what? Your children are back home. Those people shouldn't be in your house that CPS already said they need to be gone. Get rid of them. If they're really real ones, they'll come back. They'll understand. And if they don't, maybe they shouldn't have been there in the first place. A lot of times this stuff could be also God is getting your attention to make you a better person. And he'll use things like this as a test. Okay? Not saying that you won't come out, but you're going to have to do your part. You're going to have to do the work. Okay. And I'm hoping that some of the things I'm sharing today is giving you some of the ideas of what the work looks like, carrying myself in a professional way, or, engaging with my children properly, showing interest in my kids when I go to my business, getting rid of those bad relationships. They probably shouldn't. Sometimes that's going to be another segment because I was going to say something, but that's for next time. Okay. So, and I'll leave it at that. Sometimes God will show you who that person really is with CPS. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying, God knows what we don't know, and he'll use whatever he want to use. And God doesn't lie. Okay. Even they might lie, but he doesn't. You can depend on God. You can't depend on nobody else. I am a living witness of that. Get to know him while you're going through this process. Maybe he's using this as a test for you to start talking to him. Have you been talking to him? Maybe once you start back talking to him, he can start turning things around for you in your favor. Okay. Keep that in mind as well. So do your self-check. Hope is still available. It is not over yet until God said it's over. And every day you have brand new grace and mercy, new opportunities. It's not over yet. So I just want to tell you that to stay focused. Make sure you be mindful of how you're conducting yourself with CPS. Take care of yourself, self-care. Do whatever it takes to get you away for a minute. I had a guest that said she watched movies in different countries, in Paris, France, wherever, a destination you would love to go to, whatever it takes just to keep yourself in line. Keep yourself good. Be the best version of you. Okay? So that's all I wanted to share. That's all I have for you today. I just want to come on here and motivate you and tell you, most importantly, keep God first. Keep God first. Talk to God. Share with God. Even if you're angry, he gets it. He understands. Share it with God. Open up your Bible. Open up that Google. Pull up an old scripture. Whatever it takes. Just share how you feel. Be honest. It's okay. He can handle it. Okay? So talk to God. Self-care. Be the best version of you for you and your children. Stay focused. Chime into these platforms 24/7 for encouragement, for wisdom, for legal advice. That's why we're here. I overcame CPS and got my son back. Attorney Vince wanted me to share that, to encourage you. Why? To give you hope, to let you know it's not over. Don't put a period where there should be a comma. God is still moving. Okay? So don't give up. Keep fighting for your babies. Until next time, I am your host, Latrika Jones. Thank you for watching the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show, and you have a blessed day. Thank you.